Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes, and welcome back to the YoVideogames podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And once again, thank you to all our generous patrons who kept us going for over 500 episodes.
Yeah, if you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames podcast. Dude of the week is Elias. Thank you, Elias. I almost choked right there. While I was saying the spiel that I have memorized, I almost coughed right in. I'm fighting the tickle as we go. Look at how brave I am, me and my beard.
Right.
Okay, I am brave and I am tough.
Speaking of which, I am, my condolences to you early on because, they cast Kratos already in the God of War TV show. So I'm sorry.
I've been training for this.
I'm sorry you didn't get it.
Way to F me.
They
didn't cast Christopher Judge either, so I'm not exactly happy with them right now.
Ryan Hurst played Thor in God of War Ragnarok, so it's kind of interesting.
Did he really?
Yeah. So he got the role of Kratos for the TV show.
Okay.
There is some upsetness because it's Ryan Hurst and it's not like, say, like a proper Greek, actor.
How exhausting do we have to be? Do we have to be that exhausting?
Well, it's funny because someone brought up an old post from David Jaffe or David Hefe, something like the original creator of God of War. He hasn't been involved with it for a long, long time.
Also, supposedly a little bit of a monster. Isn't he?
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
But he was saying that, like, because people were like, well, who's playing? Well, what do you think? And I don't remember when he said this. I'd probably have to dig up the post of whenever. I'm not seeing it immediately. But the point was he was like, look, man, he's like, in my mind, it's like, yeah, Kratos was probably olive skin color.
Greek dude.
Greek, he's out on the Mediterranean, probably out in wars on boats a lot. He's like, in my mind, when they were talking about doing a movie, he's like, I wanted, God help me, I can't pronounce this man's name. Such a great actor, Digimon Honsu.
Okay, yeah.
He said, I envisioned him as the guy who should play Kratos in his mind. In David Jaffe's mind, that was the man, and I totally see that too.
And that dude can get a beard. Have you seen him with a beard? He can rock a beard.
Like I could absolutely see Digimon Honsu totally killing that role.
How long ago was that? Because he's I think 60 now, but Christopher Judge isn't a young man.
Yeah, no. So it's just one of those things. Just like, boy, I could definitely really have seen that.
He's 61 years old now. God damn, that guy looks great. His beard he gets like an excellent beard.
Yeah, but 20 years ago, if they were doing one, dang, dude, could you imagine?
Honestly, he's in good enough shape. He could do it now. he could do old man Kratos.
So yeah, but I'm sorry you didn't get the role.
Thank you. I will cry for a long, long time. Oh, it's Jaimon Unsu. Is how you pronounce that.
Jaimon Honsu?
Unsu.
Jaimon Honsu.
Been saying that wrong for a long time.
I mean, I first saw him in Amistad, and fuck, dude, what a great performance.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a great actor since day one. I don't think I've ever seen him, even in movies that are terrible. Like, what was that movie that got really popular when we were in high school? Or I think maybe I was in high school. It was like Never Back Down. It was like a street fight movie. It's a terrible movie, and but he's great in it. He's like, he plays the coach or the trainer.
Oh, really?
For this, yeah. God, it's one of my favorite movies to make fun of because it is objectively a bad movie. My wife loves that movie. It's like her guilty pleasure bad movie. And, everyone should have a guilty pleasure bad movie, like a movie we all objectively know is bad and yet we still like. but the agreement is you're allowed to love that movie, but you need to be made fun of for it every now and then. I'm trying to think what my guilty pleasure bad movie is off the top of my head.
I mean, I have plenty personally, but
Loads. Yeah, I mean tons. There's so many bad movies that I really, really love. But anyway.
Well, I tell people like, my guilty, my Fast and the Furious for me is like all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, like all of them. And when I say
Pirates of the Caribbean movies are really, really good, though.
I mean, there's 5 of them, right? And there's like 10 Fast and Furious. But I mean, like, if they put out a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I'm there. I'm gonna go watch it. Like, screw it, I like it. But I don't even care. I will find enjoyment out of it. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you they're all great. They're not.
They're not.
But
hey, by the way, Christopher Judge is also 61 years old.
Yep. And he went through some he had some health problems, like hip or back or something. So he's not in good shape, like physically. So if you were hoping, if you're like, why doesn't he play Kratos? He literally can't. He physically can't right now.
That's too bad. That is genuinely too bad, because he's also like, he is in great shape. Like, he could, if he can't physically do it, that sucks. But also, like, he is looks wise, he got the build. Man's a beefcake. Yeah, have they said what the is it gonna be old man Kratos? Is it gonna be young Kratos? Because the guy they cast is not a young man anyway.
No, he's not super young. No, it just is live action series.
Well,
some variety, but yeah, they don't think they specify.
Have high hopes. I don't think I have high hopes for anything in the streaming world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Is bad. But speaking of movies, by the way, before we get into the gaming topic, you had to do some flights, and so you saw a movie for the first time that is maybe it's old enough that people would give you side eye, but you could have sex with
Steve gives me side eye all the time with it. But yeah, no, my backlog, because I mean, I was not here last week. I was away on my honeymoon. There were a lot of flights to get to the destination. And at one point, while we were staying in one spot, waiting to get to the next spot, I saw the original Titanic. Well, not even the original. I mean the 1997 version, because there's older versions of the movie.
Epic James Cameron.
Yeah, and it's a weird one for me, because I'm like, on one hand, I was impressed with the production, like the production value of the movie.
I mean, it was over the top. I saw it in theaters.
I mean, the production is great. It's probably strangely has some of the worst special effects in James Cameron's entire filmography.
Oh, but for the time, though, the special effects on Titanic at the time were
mind-blowing. There's a couple of shots that are like really bad looking, like usually with propellers of the boat or like the steam room. There's and then they're not long shots, but there's these really awful blue screen shots in the movie that look worse than anything in T2, look worse than anything in True Lies, probably because like they're taking up the majority of the screen, and then you just have like, a character maybe like an 8th or a 6th, in the bottom center, and it just looks really bad.
And if you're watching remaster versions, blue screen can sometimes look much worse.
Yeah.
In up-resed version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like T1 obviously has like some rough effects, because there's a lot of stop motion used,
and it was a much cheaper film.
Yeah, it was like $6 million budget or something. Yeah. So in that sense, it's like, okay, well, that obviously looks like stop motion, but like, man, they're like it looks like a freaking like meteorologist. It looks like the news, some guy standing in front of like, a Weather Channel report. Shots. There's not a lot, but there's a couple of them where I'm like, wow, that is a really bad looking blue screen. Holy God.
I think one of my favorite things about Titanic, and remember, like, because Billy Zane plays the bad guy, right? It's Billy Zane.
Yeah, Billy Zane terribly plays the bad guy. That's the other thing too, is that like Leo, Kate, and Billy Zane are all not good. like acting wise in this movie. Like I remember this back in the 90s during the Oscars, like there was some sort of anger and resentment, especially from Leo, over the fact that he didn't get any nomination. They had 13 most nominated film in Academy history, and he didn't get even a nod, not even a nomination for acting. And I'm like, wow, no surprise here, man. You're like,
Well,
the leads are not good in this film. They're okay. They're serviceable.
I don't remember them being bad, but also acting styles have changed significantly in the last, even just the last
I don't
10
know.
years.
So here's the thing, especially with Billy Zane, because you bring him up immediately. He's terrible in this movie, but he's also not working with anything. This is probably one of Cameron's weakest honest scripts. God, people are going to be like roasting me, but David Warner is his bodyguard, lackey, his goon, and he's acting circles around him in the movie. And so I'm like, it's kind of like David Warner is like, it was strange to me to just see this character who's like definitely doing a better job than the villain. The villain's doing what he's told to do. Absolutely. He is playing the character as the character is written in the script, but it's not it ain't great dialogue for him. And he's just kind of like chewing and hamming it up as hard as he can.
Because I'm one of the maybe few people that will say this out loud, but Billy Zane, he fucks. Like he had potential. Before whatever happened, he had real leading man chops. And then I don't know what happened, but like something happened that really derailed him. And now he's in like a Mormon movie, like a movie about the Mormon
I don't know, dude.
myths.
It's funny because this movie, like he's literally just playing fucking Gaston in the movie.
Yeah.
And Leo's just playing Aladdin. Like only their Disney counterparts might actually have more depth than the characters in this 3-hour plus film do.
You've seen The Phantom, right?
I've seen bits of The Phantom.
Oh, The Phantom's great. So The Phantom it's made to be like that hammy old time hero.
Probably what killed his career was that movie.
No, he's great in it. Like he legitimately is great in it. But one of the reasons why it didn't do super well at the time is that like it was made in the style of the original Phantom.
It was made like a fucking 30s, 40s serial.
30s, 40s, adventure film. And so you watch it now and you're like, man, it's amazing how well they stuck to this. But at the time in the 90s, it's sort of like The Shadow. The Shadow came out at the same time. And Alec Baldwin's actually fairly good, but The Shadow as a concept is bad. It is the original. I think The Shadow was an inspiration for what Batman became, if I remember.
Yeah. Sure.
But like The Shadow is like the spirit of Genghis Khan. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that. I think it's the Shadow is the spirit of Genghis Khan. And it's inhabiting Alec Baldwin, who is like a billionaire playboy, whatever. I can't remember the exact plot of that film, other than The Shadow is a bloodthirsty villainous.
Bob Kane, as we now know, is basically, at worst a plagiarist. At best, he was just a grifter.
So many of their time. But The Phantom came out, and I remember like The Shadow at the time, people were like, "Oh, The Shadow's so much better. Alec Baldwin's so much better." And then now you go back and watch them both, and you're like, "Oh, The Phantom is a much better film. It's more fun. It is made to fit in with what it is adapting. It's just a much better adaptation. People weren't ready for a faithful adaptation of a 1930s adventure comic. But Billy Zane in that shows like, oh man, if the superhero thing would have taken off just a little bit earlier, he had like Billy Zane could have done Iron Man. Like people don't like now. It's insane to say that. Like now, Billy Zane's career, the career he's had, you're kind of like, what? He never would have been able to beat Robert Downey Jr. But he could have done that character. He also could have done the Doctor Strange character very, very well.
Yeah, definitely.
Really within his wheelhouse. And it's just like I don't know what happened. I am not a scholar on Mr. Zane. I'm just saying,
I don't know.
Somehow he tripped and missed the boat.
But he made it off of the movie.
Yeah, and maybe that's what happened. He got off the boat too early. If he would have gone down with it, he would have made it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very weird thing to watch that movie and be like, wow, the production and value in this movie is incredible. And I'll say this is, for still being over 3 hours, you don't feel it. Like James Cameron's a master at making you not feel like you're watching a 3 hour. Like he makes a 3 hour movie go by quickly.
It's because his writing is, generally speaking, so
He's
good.
very, very good at that. It's just his characters. The characters in this movie are like, I it's so weird to say because again, never watched the movie until this point in my life, and I'm like, wow, these are really shallow characters. Holy shit! Like they're like perfectly designed to be the heartthrobs, but they also suck.
Yeah.
Like I find Rose an incredibly shitty character in the movie. She has a line of dialogue at the beginning of the movie that just made me hate her character for the whole rest of the film. Which I'm sure Cameron probably thought it was poetic, but when she's getting out of the car and she's all like, for everyone else, this was like a luxury thing. For me, it was my slave ship taking me to America and chains. I'm like, oh, fuck you, lady. Like, it's like, oh, fuck. Like comparing your plight to that. And it's like, it's 1912. There are people who were still born as slaves in America. Shut the fuck up. like your plight, Jesus Christ. Like that just made me like not like the character pretty much from the get-go. I'm like, okay, fuck her. So yeah, I was like, it's extremely well made, but like it's like I don't know. Like I really don't. These characters, like they exist. They're like they I won't say they're like an AI made them. They're like designed by committee almost. They're so, it's so basic surface level, like pretty young girl, tragically, families, lost their fortune, has to marry this other guy who's just doting on her, but he's a piece of shit. But then, Prince Ali, the Aladdin guy, who grifted his way onto the ship, thief with a heart of gold comes and sweeps. Oh, fuck. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just kind of like, bro, anyone could have fucking wrote these characters. I feel like it's so just.
Well, I got bad news about Cameron's movies in general. Then, if you don't like his plot line there, all of his plot lines are pretty standard fare.
It's very standard fare. The thing is, I don't think the movie gives them enough. I don't think the actors honestly bring enough to them because, like, in his recent films, you have one of the most surface fucking level villains of all time with Stephen Lang's character with Quaritch, but it's Stephen Lang, and he makes a shallow character fascinating and interesting to watch, even when he's got no depth. But like, he's doing such a good job that it's like, you know what? I actually want to see where the fuck this goes with this guy. Like, he's a piece of shit. I'm not really on board with anything, and like, he's got no depth. But fuck, is it not interesting just to see this guy like just deliver lines? And that's kind of the problem there. Is that like fucking poor Leo and Kate delivering lines to each other is just kind of like, I don't know. I'm like too old. I don't know. Maybe I'm not like a 14-year-old girl, and that's the problem. But it's just kind of like, oh my God. It's like it's the kind of saccharine, I don't know, just gooey shit that people give Spielberg shit for. But I feel like it's worse here than it's ever been.
Have you ever seen The African Queen?
Yes, Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah,
and the Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
So for its time, people talked about how it had like the snappiest dialogue, and Bogart and Hepburn had like this fiery on-screen chemistry.
Yeah. Didn't they hate each other?
I don't remember if they hate each other, but I obviously did not see it when it came out, and I also did not see it when I was young. I didn't see it until I was an adult. This is another beloved film. It's one of my father-in-law's favorite films, and so it's one of my wife's favorite films. And I watched it, and basically everything about it was hokey to me. Everything about it read false.
It is. I laughed. I saw when I was young, like a 12-year-old or something. But the thing was, I was super into zoology at the time, So I was watching the movie and being like, what?
I mean, there's a ton of stuff, but like people talk about like the running the boat or the African Queen running the lake section or whatever to get past the German boat, or I it's running together for me. But there's like a dangerous boat section that people were like, it's so exciting. The jungle cruise in Disneyland is a rip
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
African
yeah.
Queen.
It's just like a parody of it.
So it's just like we're 30 years away. I think it was 96 or 97 that the movie came out. 97. We're 29 years away from when that came out. That is like what it's like to go back and watch The African Queen. Because at the time, a lot of that was pretty good stuff. There's some pretty great stuff in that movie.
I guess, I don't know, dude. Like the movie was just like, it's other than production design, I'm like, man, it's like Cameron's weakest film. Like, well, I mean, Avatar 3 is unfortunately just such a fucking retread of Avatar 2 that I'd have to say Avatar 3 is probably probably right now his weakest film.
Blasphemy.
Certainly not visually, but if not for that, I would just say like, yeah, Titanic is bottom tier Cameron, as far as I'm concerned. Not that he's done a ton of movies, because his filmography is like 9 films. It's Terminator 1, Aliens, Abyss, Terminator 2, True Lies, Titanic, and then Avatar 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, he's done 9 films.
Yeah, and he's going to do avatars until he dies.
4 and
he's
5.
going to do that one.
I don't know if he'll do Ghost of Hiroshima. I really hope he does. He doesn't sound like he will now, but I would hope so.
Well, I'm going to end the movie talk section on Billy Zane been working. I went and looked at from 1985 until today. He has been doing multiple films, TV shows, plays every year.
He was in Kingdom Hearts 1, so
this man has never said no to a role.
Neither is Samuel L. Jackson.
No, I'm not talking shit. I mean, he has worked.
Speaking of, I finally saw in its entirety in one sitting, not broken, Pulp Fiction. Finally,
you had never seen that in its entirety,
in a single like
sitting.
Yeah, in a single sitting, and I'm like, oh, it's a French film.
Well, that's wild.
Like, well, the movie itself was like, I'm like, oh, it's a French film. It's kind of like it's like Tarantino's version of a French noir film.
Well, I mean, all of his films are his version of whatever film he saw in the 70s.
It was that. Oh, I saw Jurassic World Rebirth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which incredible. I don't know if you probably didn't see the movie. It came out in June. Incredible how we're up to Dinosaur Island 7 here, and fuck, there's only been one good movie in that franchise. Damn.
Well, to be fair though, Spielberg at his worst was still pretty good. It's not like those movies are unwatchable.
None of them are. Well, no. Fallen Kingdom is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. But yeah, like this wasn't as bad as the second or the fifth movie. Technically, it wasn't as bad as the
fifth movie. God,
the fifth Jurassic Park. But it's so. Have you ever watched a movie that's just aggressively fine and nothing more?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say most Marvel movies, really.
Right, like that's basically what it was. Man, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. Which reminds me about what the fuck happened to that Jurassic Park survival game? I
don't know. That seriously just disappeared, right?
Fucking went extinct like the animal. Weird. But yeah, like nothing like. There have been like the degrees of the films have varied in quality greatly, but like I have a soft spot for 3, but it's not a great film or not even a good film by any means.
Who directed 3?
Joe Dante, I believe, or
Joe Dante.
I get it mixed up with Joe Dante and the other guy.
I have a weird soft spot for 2.
Lost World. That movie fucking sucks.
I have a weird soft spot for 2.
I hate that movie.
I like the Hunter character a lot.
Oh, dude, the movie should have been his.
It should have been about him. Yeah.
That movie the movie would have been infinitely more interesting if it was just focused on him.
And I don't mind Jeff Goldblum, but like Malcolm's story Malcolm was the least interesting character from the first movie.
Dude, he was comic relief, and suddenly he got boosted to action hero in the second, which makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, I don't understand it. But I do
He's
have
a great actor
soft spot
too.
for them. Yeah, yes. There's no bad actor in the second movie, and it's still Spielberg. Spielberg's worst film is still pretty good. Like, you're gonna have a good time with it. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna be like, okay. I would hazard to guess. I haven't seen his entire filmography, but I would hazard to guess that there's no one movie that you watch of Spielberg's where you're like, this is an absolute bag of shit. This is like, no part of this movie is entertaining or watchable. Like, I don't think a Spielberg movie like that exists. Maybe it does, and I haven't seen it, but I don't think.
I mean, some might argue Ready Player One. I mean, it's entertaining. It's not necessarily great, but you'd watch it and be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it was fun. It just wasn't,
It's passable.
I think one of the things that is unfortunate for Spielberg specifically is that he's so good and was so good and so dominant for so long that he became copied. And so nowadays, sometimes he'll make a movie that is perfectly within his style and it'll seem tired. And you're like, why does this feel tired? And you'll be like, well, because every person in the last 20 years has copied Spielberg.
Right.
I
think the only films he himself has been down home to on his own were, people find this strange, is Temple of Doom and Lost World. Like, I think he is publicly kind of like, yeah, they weren't really great films.
Yeah, Temple of Doom is not good. It's not good.
It's not.
I forgot he did that. It's not good.
He did. Well, I mean, he and Lucas both did it while they had recently divorced their first wife. So, fuck, is it obvious watching that movie?
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, I take back what I said. That's the only film I can think of that.
I don't know. I had a great time watching that in theaters. With our friend Indy. But that was like the best. Like, it was the best setting to see that movie. And I watched Indy 5 again on the plane, and I reiterate, it's nowhere near as bad as people think it is. In fact, it's actually almost great, except for a few choice decisions, which just kind of like
I don't know. Crystal Skull wasn't my favorite, but it was.
It's not terrible. It's got some terrible moments, but it's overall it's fine. I enjoy that franchise. I'm actually, it's funny. I'm so I am on the same page as Harrison Ford, where Harrison Ford is like, I don't really give a okay. He hates Han Solo in a way I don't, but like, it's really funny to watch his second half of his career, and he's just like, he so clearly doesn't give a shit about Han Solo or Star Wars in any way, shape, or form.
I think the only two characters he really cares about is Indiana Jones and Jack Ryan is the one that he said. Maybe I can't remember if it's Jack Ryan.
He did him a couple times, but yeah, like Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. But like, he clearly enjoys and likes Indiana Jones, and he clearly doesn't give a fuck about Han Solo. Like,
Indiana Jones is a very good. It's a very good segue into the gaming topic I want to talk about. Now that we're halfway through the episode, I decided to take advantage of the holiday sale, and I picked up Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. Both were a mess when they first came out, and I ended up not playing them. Loving them right now. Finished Fallen Order, and now I'm playing Survivor. And
they had a deep discount sale, holiday sale.
They did. Jedi Fallen Order was $7, and
$7.
Fallen Order $22. Look, I don't have a whole lot of money, and so when there's sales like this, that's when I pick up games most of the time. Mm-hmm. I very rarely these days grab anything like brand spanking new. And it made me realize, though, there are certain types of games that are just better to wait a year or longer to grab the complete edition.
Yeah.
Open world adventure or action adventure games. Like, I mean, Fallen Order and Survivor aren't technically open world, but they they're open world-ish enough that they fall into the same pitfalls that open world games can, where like certain things are just glitchy because there's too much happening on screen, kind of thing. But when you give those games a little bit of time, they bake a little bit longer, and then you get the complete edition, and you get them for a good price. I'm loving those games. I don't look. The first one it definitely has some Souls influence. Fallen Order has some Souls influence. It is not very forgiving at all. But and I would say the map is terrible. Like the hollow map is unused. It's so hard to use that map. So exploration is a little bit hard in the first one, but it scratches that like sort of Indiana Jones itch of like you're exploring and you're solving little weird puzzles and you're swinging about and stuff like that. The like the improvements from the first game to the second game, the quality of life improvements are pretty staggering. Like the second game, a little bit more forgiving. The combat, I would say, is still engaging, but it is, in my opinion, or maybe I just got used to the combat enough that it felt forgiving. It is much more forgiving than the first game. The map now has like a trail behind you that shows where you've run since your last like spawn in, since your like last time you saved or whatever. It shows like a little trail, so it makes it so that you can actually read the map a little bit better to tell what you've explored and stuff like that. Huge difference. It makes it so much less frustrating. I'm not far enough into Survivor now to say whether or not, you know, the like levels are as interesting. I mean, the Fallen Order has the advantage of like you're going places that are like pretty freaking cool.
Yeah,
you know? This one, so far it seems like completely new worlds. You're not visiting old worlds yet. Or worlds from the main series, worlds you'd recognize, kind of thing. So, but overall, liking it a lot. And I don't know if I would have liked it at full price as much as I'm like I don't know if I'm being more forgiving, which is entirely possible.
Because that's the thing, and I think it's really opening up a conversation now where it's like maybe these games should have come out at like $50, you know, considering it's a single player game. They're probably maybe 10 hours, 20 maybe. They're just
the first one was pretty long.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only played the first one. I've heard the second one is excellent, but mostly on console. PC version was kind of a mess. Might still be kind of a mess for the second one.
Yeah, well, I'm playing on console, and it's pretty smooth. I haven't seen anything.
I've seen, I think, more than one person in the media sphere say that if it wasn't for the issues, technical issues, they would have easily said the second one is their game of the year when the year came out. They're like, it would have easily been that if the technical issues weren't there.
Okay.
But they were there, and they were prevalent enough that it was like, I can't overlook this as a problem, kind of thing. But otherwise, this is an incredible experience. So, which is interesting, because I remember the first game was like, it's cool, but like what you said initially there was like so true. I'm like, God, the map, the
map's awful. Like it's so hard to use. And there is some stuff where it's like, if I was going to be nitpicky on the first game, and this truly is a nitpick, there's some collectibles and stuff. I'm not like 100% type person. Like I won't, if I can't find something after a little bit of time, or I'm not going to waste an entire day hunting down, whatever. And I'm not going to look up, like I could just, I'm sure there's a million walkthroughs for it to find it, but I'm not going to do that. There is some stuff, because you can't unlock certain parts of certain worlds until you go get this power, and then you got to go back and you got to slog through the
droidiness of it.
Yeah. Because the maps can be so confusing / slog filled, even with the shortcuts, because the hollow map is so difficult to find shit in. There's things that like I knew there's something there, and I just never went back for it because it's just like it's not worth it. It's not worth the annoyance of like
I ain't doing all that again.
Yeah. And there's other things where it's like one thing they really loved to do in the first game, and it doesn't seem like they do it in this one, in the second one. They love to hide stuff behind you at the beginning of levels, like where you land and walk into the level. They love it if you just turn around. There's like a lot of the time I recall, there's something like right there. Or they love to hide things on corners that you pass, where if you just turn around and look back, it's obvious, but like you just can't see it peripherally, kind of thing. And you
Right.
can't see if you look straight or straight down the hallway. No, but as soon as you get back and you turn around a second, it's like obviously
You
there.
start habitually like just moving the camera all the time, looking for stuff.
Yeah, basically just like every time I passed a crossroads that I wasn't going to go down right now, I would always turn around to look behind because sometimes it'd literally be just like right at the corner.
You know what I kind of felt thinking back on that game is like, wouldn't it be cool if Respawn took basically what you have here and made a Jet Force Gemini game? You
Yes.
know, that you know, it was more blaster focused, obviously, but like just the sort of look and feel of the game kind of gave me a sort of like next gen Jet
Yeah.
Force Gemini feel.
No, I totally forgot. Who developed Jet Force Gemini, the
Rare.
original? Oh, it was Rare, yeah.
It's rare.
Yeah. No, I'd be down with that. Like a modern Jet Force Gemini could be really good. I mean, I don't know that Rare would ever do it.
I don't know
Because
what, you know,
that
dude, I don't know what's happening to Rare at this point because, you know, Sea of Thieves is a very successful game for them, but like I don't know what's even going on with it, and obviously that can't run on forever. And they canceled Everwild, and I think they let go of pretty much all the leads down that one. If I'm not mistaken, hopefully I'm not talking out of my butt, but I pretty sure that was one of the games that got like
axed. Yeah.
got axed, canceled. It is canceled. Yeah, it is canceled.
Yeah. Microsoft is dead. Did you see Bobby Kotick gloating?
Did he?
Yeah. He was basically like, oh well, you know, seeing how the games industry is stagnating and having a major slump right now, it was an extremely good call for me to sell Activision for $69 billion to Microsoft. Like he was literally just like patting himself on the back, being like, see how fucking smart I am? Like I got out at the perfect time.
He's such a piece of shit, that man.
He's such a dickhead. I saw it. I thought you were going to send it to me. I was like, I was waiting for you to be like, look at this piece of shit.
Get a load of this asshole over here.
But yeah, it's like literally, and the picture that they used of him is literally him just being like just looking stoked. For those of you not watching the video, it's just like he's got a big shit-eating grin. And he's just like he's so amped, and it's like he won the lottery.
He did. He won the lottery like fucking 50 times.
And now Microsoft is just burning all of the gains it made over the last like. You remember? No, it wasn't a year ago. It's 2 years ago now. I think it was 2 years ago now. How hopeful.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, there might be Microsoft might be taking some swings again, and now you're just kind of like, no, that was the last gasp of a drowning man.
Damn.
That's
well, okay. So to be fair, in Microsoft are getting hit the worst right now, but this is not looking to be a good year for video games. Not that they've had a good few. It's been a bad few years with all the layoffs. It's about to get worse. So
yeah, and I don't think we can even blame, like, there was the COVID slump in 2023 because that's when, you know, that's when like dev cycles synced up. Yeah. You know, it's like, but now you can't really blame. Really, we're just seeing the effect of companies prioritizing a smoke and mirrors machine over, you know, the actual profitable sections of their company.
Kind of in trouble. I mean, okay. So when I say the industry, I guess I mean more like the high end AAA big publisher side. They're in a lot of trouble because they've laid off so many thousands of people. They've canceled all these projects. And like, you know, we're gonna because in the whole idea is like games need to be made faster. Yeah, you know, but the thing is they don't. What they're all talking about is like, can I get AI to replace everything and do everything for me? And can I still make a shit ton of money? And can I make more money year over year? No, you can't. Is basically the answer to all that. So the industry will survive, but it's going to survive through people like those who make games like Repo and Lethal Company and RV There Yet and smaller scale stuff will be like the double A stuff. Although who was it? I can't remember if it was David Jaffe or Cliffy B or someone or someone else. So I forget what figurehead in the industry basically said like the industry is going to learn a lot of wrong lessons from Expedition 33, where they all of a sudden they think, oh, double A, that's the future. I'm like, no, dude, there's a ton of double A games that come out and lose money like crazy. It's not just about like, oh, have a smaller scale, smaller budget. That's the way to go. I'm like, no, well, I mean, it's like talent rises to the top, obviously, like for the most part. But yeah, everyone's going to be doing worse this year. This is not going to be a good year straight up for games financially speaking.
Although for the consumer side, because there's going to be less games overall this year, probably, you're really going to get to focus on just like, one game that you really love.
The thing is,
Resident Evil 9.
Frankly, there's going to be a lot of good games that come out this year. There will be, but I think
It's not going to be
financially,
overwhelming. Like, it's not going to be an overwhelming year, is it?
Capcom's going to do just fine because they actually have an incredible year this year. It's and hopefully Sega has a pretty good year too. It's everyone else that's going to be there's definitely going to be this is going to be a troublesome year for some people. And this recently was reflected with, an article came out from Circuit Toto, an analyst in Japan, and basically there's been a sell-off. Like Nintendo's stock has dropped in value like a lot since
30%.
August.
Yeah.
It's still up year over year, but for a 6 month, it's a steep decline in the past 6 months. Because basically
It's
after August, basically things just kind of went down. And a lot of everyone kind of takes the wrong thing away from it. Everyone treats video games like sports teams for some reason. That's like the way the fandom likes to treat Nintendo and Sony and everything. And it's like, well, it's because their star player isn't hitting, or they're injured. And it's like, to be real here, the shareholders, the financial side, they don't give a shit about release dates or whatever. It's just a pure numbers game for them. So to say like, oh, Nintendo's doing bad because my Prime 4 was a disappointment. It's like that has so little to nothing to do with financials. What's really going to hurt Nintendo this year is that they're probably going to have to raise the price of the Switch too, because the cost of RAM and memory is skyrocketing because of fucking AI. That's the problem here, and that's out of their control. They don't have there's nothing they can do about that. So yeah, the industry is going to start hurting because everyone's going to have to kick up their prices probably again, all because of this fucking mythical dragon known as AI that everyone's chasing.
Well, I think one of the interesting second order effects that's going to happen when the AI bubble bursts is that you're going to have RAM companies and not chip companies, but like RAM companies and like those parts companies are going to go out of business. Because as soon as that customer isn't there, they're going to have produced a ton of RAM for those customers, and then the market's going to get flooded. And companies that, like Crucial, for instance, who switched entirely to enterprise because there's such a demand for it now, they're going to try and switch back to, customer, public customer, and RAM's going to absolutely bottom and tank, and you're going to be like, oh, that's going to be great for us for a very short period of time, and then those companies are going to go to business. And then RAM will be expensive again because there's going to be like one company that makes it.
Well, there's the other part too, is that like say this thing does burst, and then the cost of like hard drives, solid state drives, RAM bottoms out, like crashes, right? Are consoles going to go down in price? And I would argue that probably not. I can't imagine.
They will, just very slowly until they find an equilibrium that they think you're willing to pay.
Exactly. So yeah, I think if we want to talk, what can Nintendo themselves do in light of the fact that, yeah, that system's probably going up. Yeah, it's easy to find. This is surplus. It's not sold out. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a problem with them because they've sold so many Switch 2s already. So I can't sit here and say like they're not selling any. No, they're selling systems. The thing is, they did it. They did the smart thing. Good on them. Made a shit ton. So there's no missing demand. What Nintendo does have to worry about, and this is where the sort of like the sports enthusiast mindset comes in. And here's where I'll give I'll give a little bit of little bit to them. I think Nintendo does need to have a baller February Direct this year. And the reason I say that is they need to really start showcasing what I call $500 games, where this is a game you're willing someone, or at least a chunk of people would spend $500 on. And the problem is they don't have a lot of that right now. Like Mario Kart World, I think for me and others was kind of disappointing. Bonanza is kind of like that, close to that. Bonanza is more of like a $200 game. We're like, oh yeah, I got to buy a console for that. $200-$300 game. But like they haven't had like I'm going to spend $500. Like how much of a crowd do you think is going to looks at Kirby Air Riders and goes $500? Yes. Or you're saying
$500 like it's going to make them want to buy a console to get in on this, right?
Exactly. That's my point. Like, I will buy the console for this game. I need the console for this game. And the problem Nintendo has right now is that like they have a smattering of quality titles coming out for the system that are announced, but they are not $500 games. Like, you're not buying the Switch 2 for Mario Tennis in February. You're not buying $500 for a Yoshi game. Like that's also the spring or an update to Mario Wonder.
Well, it's like Zelda. That's what you're talking about.
Right.
You're talking about a Legend of Zelda.
They have a couple where like, okay, Dusk Bloods, the next big From Software game is an exclusive, big time $500 game. That's big time. Elden Ring sold 25 million copies. Like that's
okay.
That is like, okay, the enthusiast FromSoft crowd, if it's Miyazaki's next game, he's been working on it since 2019 in various prototype stages. It's like his biggest project he's ever worked on, and it's exclusive. Yeah. Okay. That's a big time $500 game. Like that's what you need. And I think Fire Emblem is also a game where it's like, okay, there's a big enthusiast crowd for Fire Emblem. They will absolutely buy a new console for a new Fire Emblem. That's good. That's good stuff. If it was Splatoon 4 and not Splatoon Raiders, not a spinoff, I think that would have been a better selling point. But we're getting a Splatoon spinoff, which we don't even really know what it entails, and I think that's kind of a problem,
right?
For the sort of, is this $500 kind of money? Like the other big obvious ones, and I think what we do know from the leak, the internal leak, like the next generation Pokemon game next fall. Yes, that is a big plays game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The next actual legitimate the next generation of Pokemon on Switch 2. That's a $500. But again, here's the problem: is Dusk Bloods and Fire Emblem to an extent, and Pokemon. Those are all like November-ish, titles. So they're a little bit of a ways off. So Nintendo. I honestly do think Nintendo might have a kind of lethargic first half to this year.
Well, this is a weird segue, kind of. Is there a Sony franchise that's a $700 franchise?
Spider-Man was kind of already it.
You would have bought you'll buy a PS6 for $600 to get Spider-Man.
Not me, but like considering that 10 million people bought Spider-Man 2 like immediately on PS5, and it was a $500.
But there was nothing else to buy.
It was Spider-Man and a Demon Souls remake and all the other bullshit. But it's like that was the game. That was like
I don't think you can use anything. I don't think you can use anything on PS5 as a clear example of things people bought a PS5 for, because PS5 hasn't had a huge amount.
I think people did buy a PS5 when they thought Horizon 2 and God of War Ragnarok were going to be exclusive to the system.
But at the same time,
Spider-Man 2, amongst others.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like God of War, I could see people being like, "Oh, I got to get there." Like I could see that, but like I don't know what they're gonna. What franchise could they announce as a PS6 launch exclusive that would make me want to buy a PS6?
Oh, a 6 at this point? God,
yeah.
I mean, they're in trouble. They need like Well, I mean, again, their big franchise hits right now are Last of Us, are God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man. These are 10 plus million sellers, right? If they did an Uncharted 5, if it was called Uncharted 5, even if it wasn't Nathan Drake, like that would probably raise some. If it's a Wolverine 2, if Wolverine 1 comes out and it's fucking fire, and then they're like, we're gonna make a sequel on the PS6, that's you know.
I guess a Last of Us 3. I guess I would be at least intrigued by that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, then they're gonna announce it being remade a year later. But I could wait a year. I could wait a year for The Last of Us 3.
Well, I mean, Last of Us 3 will come out like the final year of the PS5, and then a year
It'll
later
be on
remastered
both.
on PS6.
Yeah.
And
It'll
then,
be on both.
then 3 years later, it'll be a remake on PS6.
Is there anything that'll get you to get Game Pass again / get on an Xbox again / buy an Xbox next gen
Sure,
Xbox?
absolutely. There is a very simple way to get me back on Xbox Game Pass. Actually, it's quite simple. You drop it back down, and you just take. You might have to take away the EA and EA Access and the Ubi Play and the Fortnite crew. Even if you took all those three things away and just said, well, it's just first party and non EA, non Ubisoft, to be like, okay.
Well, what would make you get the next gen Microsoft
System?
Yeah, what would be the $500 game for Microsoft? Well, $700 game for Microsoft.
If it allows me to access my Steam library.
Well, that ain't happening. So Valve
I
is
said
already having a tough sell.
I said it for a while, like this is their only play to make the system viable, or
and it ain't happening because Valve is they're already having a hard time figuring out how to set a price for their machine.
You know what though, it may be happening unofficially though, because the big rumor right now is that the next Xbox is not even going to be a system; it's just going to be a PC that has big picture, whatever they call Steam's big picture mode, or not Steam's, Windows big picture mode, because they introduced like the early stages of it were introduced in that Xbox Ally X,
right?
And it's also something they want to roll out to all Windows 11 is this big picture mode, where it like kind of just like it just loads a different UI, and it kind of just like minimizes all the tasks in the background and just kind of like puts gaming front and center. So it supposedly, I don't know, it's Microsoft, so they're going to cock it up. But so the idea is supposed to be that like, hey, we basically minimize and reduce all the tasks in the background, and then free up all your system storage and RAM and whatever for gaming, because it's a gaming mode. You go into gamer mode, right? Which is Steam big picture mode. So the idea is Microsoft actually is doing that, and so the next Xbox will be not even like sold like it is. It's going to be this really high-end luxury device, right? And it literally will load Windows 11. It's going to be a PC, and it'll have this native big picture mode, whatever, right? But if it is running Windows 11, it's literally running the OS of 11. God help us all. You could just load Steam on that. So since it will no longer basically, but actually be a PC that you're buying, a PC set box top, you might theoretically be able to just load Steam on the darn thing.
But then if they try to charge for like Xbox Live on a PC,
Well, I mean, that's the real question. Microsoft's going to have to sort of tangle with themselves where, okay, you sell a PC, that it is just a PC. You're just selling a PC, right?
Right.
So people just load Steam on it. So they're just going to play Steam games online for free. Now there's less incentive than ever to subscribe to Game Pass.
I sort of suspect they're going to get out of the hardware game entirely.
Right.
They like being a software game because it is
Absolutely.
infinitely scalable.
But I don't think there's anything enticing at this point at the price we're talking about any longer for Game Pass. Like as they basically are more or less like crashing out of the console space.
Yeah.
Game Pass itself doesn't really have a place in the universe. I mean, there is a PC Game Pass, but who cares? Like, I think to my knowledge, it is the cheapest, but also the least subscribed to version of Game Pass is the PC only one.
That's the one I had.
Yeah, and there's a good reason for this. I'm like, because Steam sales.
Yeah, but I also don't. I don't think it was that much cheaper either. Game
Well, I don't
Pass
know
Ultimate.
Ultimate was 20, now it's 30.
Yeah.
And then PC was like 15. It was like $5 cheaper.
Hmm.
From
Yeah.
Ultimate. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I just I'm all Steam and PlayStation now.
right. Well, I don't I think they're losing they kind of already lost their one sort of ace in the hole with Game Pass because it was so easy, it was so convenient, it was so nice. But it got too expensive. And yeah, like we've gone over the reasons why, but like, yeah,
I'm going to end this on a weird note because this is true. I'm not upset that Game Pass is doing bad now. Because even though it was a good deal, I've always sort of felt that like streaming, like TV and movie streaming, it's the beginning of the end.
Well, I just think it's the way the game industry is set up. It's entirely unsustainable.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it wasn't sustainable.
That's the problem they're having in TV.
Well, it wasn't sustainable for TV, and there's far less major movie studios than there are game. Well, actually, that's not even true anymore. Shit, like there used to be way more game publishers, than there were movie studios. Now it's like there's like 5 of each now. So
yeah. Well, they've cannibalized themselves.
Right, like they're all like fishes eating all the smaller fishes, getting eaten themselves by the bigger until it's just 3 big fish left or whatever. No, so yeah, like Game Pass was really cool, but I think the ride's kind of over with that price hike. And I'm not, I don't even miss it. I mean, that's the weird thing is like I quit my subscription and I'm like, have I looked back? Nope.
Yeah, no,
Because backlog, as you said, you discovered your backlog, which was the Jedi EA Respawn games, the Respawn Star Wars games, which are great. For myself, there were games I didn't play immediately on launch. One of them was Nier Automata. Ended up loving the shit out of that game. I got it on sale at Best Buy. Physical. So shit. I mean, that was a really, really good example. There, was a game, and it was literally 8 years ago. It was because of when we did our 2017 Game of the Years, our favorite games that year. You talked a big game about Yakuza 0.
Oh yeah,
and here I am now. So I went and got Yakuza 0 off of that recommendation and ended up loving the shit out of the series because of it. So
it's the weird thing about that whole series for me is that I really loved 0 and then got burnt out very quickly of playing each of the individual. But now you have me intrigued about the like a pirate, like a dragon,
like
it's Yakuza like a dragon,
like a dragon pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Terrible title, but you have me intrigued to play that. I was going to buy that on sale. I might still buy that on sale. That's on the PlayStation holiday sale too. I don't know how much it's off, but
oh yeah, that's gone on sale a couple times actually. It was really cheap at one point during the holiday sale. It was like 24 or something. I don't know.
It goes on sale fairly often though. So I'll grab it and I'll play it.
I recommend it. My game of the year, man. Like, just fucking loved it. It's that one's pretty unlike a lot of the other Yakuzas though. That's like that's like, hey, silly pirate sim.
Yeah. I think that's what's drawn me to it, is not that the other Yakuzas are bad. It's just that it's a lot of it is more of the same, and I liked it, but I just didn't want to have any more of it. This one is just weird and wacky. Like a Dragon is weird and wacky too compared to the other ones. So I
Yeah,
might
'cause it
have
went
to go
a
back and play that
It
too.
went to a turn-based system with Like a Dragon, which is part 7. That's when the English dub got they went back to doing dubs or started including dubs again with part 7, and the part 7 dub is very good. Like really, really weirdly good. Like George Takei is one of the leads in the game. And the guy who does Ichiban does like a really good job. Like, because I've seen that I've obviously because I beat Yakuza 8, and I would actually switch it when I was Ichiban. I would actually play it in English, and then when it went over to Kiryu, I'd play it in Japanese. Because, I mean, everyone hates the guy they got for Kiryu, and I don't think he's bad. I just think he just sounds too generic tough guy voice. And I'm like, the thing about Kiryu is that he has a very, very recognizably distinguished, like, gruff voice. And I compare it basically to Harrison Ford, where
yeah.
as we eternally always circle back to Harrison Ford here. You play an Indiana Jones game until Troy Baker got,
He did a really good job. Yeah.
Until we got to Troy Baker's Indiana Jones, every Indiana Jones game had a obvious sound alike, where it's like, okay, you don't sound like Harrison Ford. Very few people sound like Harrison Ford. Like Troy Baker, Mark Hamill, and a couple others sound like Harrison Ford. Like
Mark Hamill being good at doing it is weird.
Hey, I don't sound like that. but yeah, you know what I mean, right? Where it's like you would play like Staff of Kings or Emperor's Tomb or even Fate of Atlantis or Infernal Machine. These don't sound like Harrison Ford. They don't sound anything like him. He has a very distinct sounding voice. In Kiryu, the character Kiryu in the Yakuza series, Kuroda, similar. That is an unmistakable. You could not speak Japanese. You could hear him be like, oh, it's Kiryu's voice. You just know who it is. So when I was playing Yakuza 8, if I was playing Kiryu's part of the game, I would literally switch the game to Japanese. And then when I was playing Ichiban's, I would actually switch it to English.
Because it was that good.
One, it was that good. And two, in Ichiban's storyline in Yakuza 8, Danny Trejo plays a character in the game who's face modeled after Danny Trejo, like face and body modeled. And I'm like, I'm not doing Japanese Danny Trejo. I'm playing this in English. I'm intrigued. Danny Trejo plays the character who looks like himself, modeled after. So I'm like, I have to play it in English. I can't do this. And I really didn't even have that much of a problem. I really didn't. And it's good too, because like when you're playing as Ichiban in Yakuza 8, he's in Hawaii. He's in Honolulu, so all the native people, all the other people in all the criminal underworld of Hawaii speaking English makes more sense than they're all like perfect Japanese fluent. I mean, there is a lot of people from Japan love to vacation to Hawaii, and there's a lot of
Japanese people live there. A lot of Japanese diaspora.
You will find that, yes, but it's also kind of like when you're bumping into a bunch of the fat white tourists on the beach, and they're not saying, hey, they're not saying sumimasen, or they're not yelling at you in Japanese. Like, that's just not happening. So my immersion was, when I'm in Hawaii, I'm going to play it in English. When I'm in Japan, I'm going to play it in Japanese. Okay. So it was great for the immersion. I heard there's a funny side quest in Yakuza 7 if you ever get to it.
Okay.
And so in the side quest, you bump into an American tourist who has a dictionary, and he's trying to figure out, he doesn't know how to get somewhere because he doesn't speak the language. And then Ichiban is like, oh, English. He's like, I got this. And so you have this really funny game where you try to help this lost tourist get to where he needs to go in English. But they dubbed the game. So the localizers of Sega America asked, is there anything we can do for this side quest to sort of help us along here. And they're like, oh, no, here we got it. So if you play the game in English and you come across the American Tourist side quest, like Ichiban will look at the camera and go, oh, English. And he gives this big thumbs up at the camera, only in the dub version, to go like wink, wink. Oh yeah, I got to speak English now. So they do this whole thing, where they're like, yeah, like they added this little extra like fourth wall break to be like, yes, we know you're playing the game in English and you're trying to like navigate a guy speaking English at you. So
I lived that side quest. I can't remember what trip it was when I came back, but we landed at LAX. Oh, it must have been. I think we were in Europe, but we landed at LAX, and there was a Chinese tourist was trying to get directions. LAX is just a mess. If you've never been in that airport, it is just confused, and they're always doing construction, so it's always different every time you go. But it is truly just like you will walk miles to get to a place. It's stupid. But this guy was like, he was very clearly trying to ask for some directions, and like not a single person would help this man. And he was probably like mid 40s, maybe early 50s, and you could see that he was getting more and more frustrated, and he was gonna be late for his flight. And like none of the stewardesses would help him. The people at the gates wouldn't help him. Like one lady, like literally put her hand up in his face while she was like talking on the phone. It was fucking crazy. And so it was so annoying and crazy that I was like, okay, it's like midnight when we landed. And I was like, okay, I'm going to help this man find his gate. And we go on this adventure figuring out, and he knows like 5 words or so of English. Hyper polite, just didn't speak English. And we were on this adventure. I swear to God, it took like 90 minutes to get this guy, but we got there just at the nick of time. And like he's jogging to the gate, yelling at me in Chinese, "Thank you so much." I'm just getting onto the gate. But I lived that side quest in LAX, the worst airport.
nice.
Well, actually, no, DFW is the worst. No, LAX is the worst airport only because DFW is actually no.
I don't know. I had a connecting flight once in DFW, and it was shit. I was like, "What in the fuck is this layout?"
DFW is bad, but there is the tram system that at least lets you skip a lot of the bad to get to the next confusing bad area. LAX is bad, and then also doesn't have a tram system worth a damn. Actually, I don't think LAX has a tram system at all. So you're just running and walking through tunnels, and everything's constantly being under construction. It's ugly. It is depressing. It is constantly packed. It is confusing. It's terrible. DFW at least isn't completely ugly until you look out the window.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, they built it in a spot that is just flat nothing. There's nothing to look at. I wouldn't even say it's ugly. I'd say it's like purgatory. Actually, you know what? If I die and there is a purgatory, I imagine it will be DFW.
or Oklahoma.
No, that's hell. I'm kidding. I know we have listeners from Oklahoma, and just giving you shit, man. I don't know that I would go to Oklahoma. I'd go to OKC.
I'll say this though, from my recent travels, it's really weird how every single state is its own little fiefdom. And I didn't have any bad experience, but I'll say this: Florida sucks. Florida is like all of the disadvantages of the tropics and none of the advantages.
I will say,
it's filled with insane people.
So for our European or like Aussie listeners, especially, one way to think about the states is more like the European Union, where it's like every state is its own country.
Really
like
is.
States,
and sometimes
they have their own laws. They have their
like little blobs of them will be pretty similar sometimes in some little chunks, but
yeah, but there are some. The states close to your state will have a very similar culture usually. Several states will have a similar, and the further you get away from that state, the culture changes and stuff. Mm-hmm. There is a unifying American culture, but it's not. Americanism is, or U.S. is
The
very
unifying
local.
culture. The unifying culture is a 7-Eleven and a Denny's.
I would call it TV. I'd say it's Friends. Like that is the
There you go.
unifying like TV. But to put it into perspective, like if you're watching TV from the US, you're getting a very middle American or Californian accent. The US, every state has a variance on the accent, but like certain regions are downright other languages.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to explain that, but like if you go to Appalachia, you're like the language is different. It's just not. It's
Appalachia?
Appalachia. I've heard it. Actually, I hear people say Appalachia way more often than Appalachia.
Well, it's like rodeo and rodeo.
Well, yeah, but rodeo is only rodeo on rodeo. Everywhere else, it's rodeo.
Right. In Beverly Hills, there's a street with all the bougie stores called Rodeo Drive, and I'm like, it's rodeo. Like, what the fuck?
It's only it's how like in LA, Los Feliz. What? But it's that neighborhood. If you call it by the correct pronunciation, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Los Feliz, and it was Los
Los
Dude,
Feliz?
that reminds me. The airport I saw in LA now, they actually sell shirts that are phonetically spelled Los Doyers.
Mm-hmm.
LOSDOYERS. I mean, and what that means is if you follow baseball, the Dodgers. However, in Southern California, it's often pronounced the Los Doyers.
Yeah.
And now we literally embraced it, and we sell shirts that even change the spelling to be Los Doyers.
But yeah, there's a whole month here where the Barons, the baseball team here is Los Barons.
Los Barons.
And they change their uniforms to have like Mexican colors.
Nice.
Hell yeah. But anyway, that's my weird ending, and I don't have a segue into the ending, so we've got patrons to thank. If you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames podcast. Dude of the week was Elias. Thank you, Elias. And our producers for this episode are Dragon Wolf Makoto, Donglemeister, Zybernite, Tech Turtle, Tsunami, LCL Mayhem, and Ziggy Z. Thank you, dudes. We'll catch you next time.
Later, dudes.